And we're watching Hurricane Helene in the Gulf of Mexico. More on your local forecast in just a few minutes.
And the biggest game in the SEC this year is 2 days away. That means roads and interstates will be busy. We'll have the latest information concerning game day traffic. And there are evacuation routes through Alabama for those trying to get out of harm's way. WVUA 23 News starts right now.
This is WVUA 23 News.
Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Laura Vale in this evening for Jabari Pruitt. Tonight we begin with weather. Helene is now a major Category 3 hurricane and will soon make a projected landfall in Florida's Panhandle. Michael Yoshida is there as state officials change their messaging from evacuate to shelter in place.
Every minute that goes by brings us closer to having conditions that are going to be simply too dangerous to navigate.
The National Weather Service is using another term, unsurvivable. When it comes to the storm surge, Helene is expected to unleash on parts of the Florida coast in the coming hours.
If it's 20 feet like they're saying, it's going to change the landscape in Franklin County, I can assure you that.
Franklin and Taylor counties are in Helene's expected landfall zone. But for much of Florida's Gulf Coast, mandatory evacuations have been in place since Wednesday, with state and local officials imploring residents, leave while you can.
Some people have made decisions that they're going to hunker down, even though they were requested to leave.
Regardless of that, the governor says rescue crews are standing by.
If there's people that are going to be in distress, we're going to be there to be able to assist in those efforts.
Their message now, survival.
If you hear trees snapping around your home, treat it like a tornado. Get to an interior portion of your home, get as low as you can.
And silence, officials warn, doesn't mean safe.
What that actually means is you're in the eye of the hurricane. All right? Do not go out and survey damage.
An eye that could be up to 50 miles wide with more catastrophic conditions less than an hour behind it. Helene is expected to roar up the southeastern U.S., with impacts felt as far north as D.C. in the days ahead. In Steinhatchee, Florida, I'm Michael Yoshida reporting.
And Chief Meteorologist Richard Scott is here now with our weather update. What will this storm mean for our area, Richard?
Hey, Laura, for our local area, not much at all. For central or west Alabama, some light patchy rain possible, breezy winds. The big impact's going to be down here in Florida. In fact, this is the radar presentation, this powerful hurricane, a high-end Category 3 right now. Again, Mobile, Baldwin counties, Gulf Shores, Orange Beach, Dauphin Islands, no major impact at all. The rain is east of Destin. Panama City, we've got tropical storm conditions right now, but again, the core impacts so far are to your southeast. 120-mile-per-hour winds with this hurricane. Again, it is a Category 3, makes landfall around 9 o'clock tonight in that Big Bend region, very close to Perry, Florida. It's going to move right across Tallahassee as a major hurricane, then into Georgia. But again, the main impacts will be east of Alabama. We'll talk more about that local forecast, look at that 7-day planner here in just a few minutes. Laura.
And the Hurricane Center says Helene's storm surge could potentially climb to 20 feet along some parts of the coast. Much of the southeast will be affected. 5 states are under emergency declarations. They are Florida, Georgia, North and South Carolina, and Virginia.
The weather in Tuscaloosa right now is pretty nice. We're under what we call this trough, and it's this colder air that came down. And as that dips down, it's steering Helene farther to the east. It's struggling, and we're trying to figure out why it's struggling. It's not rapidly intensifying.
Helene is forecast to grow into one of the largest storms in the Gulf of Mexico from the last century. It will be the 4th to make landfall in the U.S. this year and the 5th to slam Florida since 2022. And highways across South Alabama are open and available to move people to safer areas as Hurricane Helene comes inland. The Alabama Department of Transportation designates at least a dozen roads coming north or west out of Florida as hurricane evacuation routes. AlDOT has also ordered a halt to non-emergency land restrictions or lane closures on all state, U.S., and interstate highways. Florida's Big Bend and Panhandle remain under evacuation orders. And drivers around should expect a lot more traffic leading up to Saturday's game. AlDOT is working with the City of Tuscaloosa, the university, and law enforcement agencies to make traffic flow as smooth as possible. Even with former President Donald Trump's visit, traffic will still follow standard game day procedures. But AlDOT suggests fans leave early and allow extra time for the traffic. They suggest downloading the AlGo app to keep up with any delays, crashes, or closed roads.
Checking the Algo traffic app is key. It lets you know if there are crashes in the area and if your route is impacted. So we really ask people to know before you go, download the Algo traffic app. That way you can get to Tuscaloosa on time.
There are no interstate or road closures travelers will have to worry about for this weekend. And Tuscaloosa is upping security this weekend with thousands of extra fans. That security also includes Secret Service agents who will be on hand to protect Donald Trump. City and state law enforcement agencies will aid UAPD, enforcing safety protocols and security checkpoints. Tuscaloosa's mayor says the safety of our city will be a top priority.
Well, every game day has its own complete set of security precautions that we put in place because the safety of those that are visiting our city is the most important thing we can do for a game day weekend. And with President Trump's arrival, certainly we need to even go to a higher level, and working with our partners, Secret Service, state, we feel very comfortable that we're going to provide a very safe environment and a very fun environment for people who are here for the Alabama-Georgia game.
Gates will open at 4 p.m. and kickoff will be at 6:30. And ESPN's Game Day will also be here for the show Saturday morning. Crews are already on campus, starting the massive setup process. The stage is being assembled on the quad amid tailgating tents and in the shadow of Denny chimes. Now retired Bama coach Nick Saban has joined the ESPN team this year, and this will be his first time on set at Alabama this season. And another member of ESPN Game Day crew paid us a visit today at the Digital Media Center. Reese Davis spoke to a group of Alabama students. Davis is a University of Alabama grad and took questions from students who asked about his career, the huge matchup with Georgia, and his expectations for College Game Day.
I'm excited for all of the fans to come out and see Nick and see a different side of him. First, welcome him back and show the appreciation for what he did here, not just in football, but for the campus and the community, the generosity and the impact that he and Ms. Terry have had on this city and on this state, immeasurable. And it's remarkable. It's given a lot of people a lot of opportunities.
We asked Davis on his prediction for Saturday's matchup, and he said he's going to wait until College Game Day Saturday morning. And fans who camp out and tailgate in RVs are ready for some football. Coach's Corner RV Park has had some of their RVs there since the beginning of the week. Some fans try to beat the traffic and crowds and arrive early. But since this is one of the biggest games of the season, a lot more people are filling up the few spots remaining. Lot managers expect even more people to arrive tomorrow.
This week we're especially excited because Georgia's huge. It's going to be a big grudge match, So my husband got here on Tuesday. Donna and I came in yesterday. We got to go see our granddaughter, niece play volleyball. We got grandson plays football tonight. So we just make a whole week of it. Tomorrow we got a huge barbecue planned. Our life revolves around sports and fellowship with our other fan friends.
Managers at Coach's Corner expect the lot to be full by this time tomorrow. And Miles College has a purchase agreement underway. We'll tell you whose land they're acquiring. And Alabama is preparing to carry out the nation's second nitrogen gas execution. We'll have more news coming up next. Birmingham's Miles College has signed a purchase agreement for the 192-acre Birmingham Southern College campus. Both boards of trustees have unanimously voted to enter into the agreement. Birmingham Southern closed and ceased normal operations on May 31st. Neither BSC nor Miles have further comments on the details of the agreement. The BSC campus will remain closed to all visitors until further notice. And in Greene County, the Utah Police Department will have their police night out Thursday, October 3rd. The original date was changed due to expected severe weather today. Activities start at 5 p.m. at the R.H. Young Community Center next Thursday. There will be free food and events for children and to come enjoy. The state's second nitrogen gas execution is scheduled for today. Death row inmate Alan Eugene Miller will be executed at Holman Prison in Atmore. Miller was convicted of killing 3 men back-to-back workplace shootings in 1999. This will be the second attempt to execute Miller, following a botched attempt at lethal injection in 2022. WVUA 23 and the Tuscaloosa County Sheriff's Office needs your help locating some of Tuscaloosa County's most wanted. Adam Burks, black male, 27 years of age, 6'6", 140 pounds, black hair, brown eyes, last known to be living in the area of Vance Blockton Road, West Blockton, wanted for identity theft. Tanya Christian, white female, 32 years of age, 5'5", 120 pounds, red hair, brown eyes, last known to be living in the area of Golden Acres Drive, Cottondale, wanted for chemical endangerment of a child. Michael Prude, black male, 30 years of age, 5'7", 122 pounds, black hair, brown eyes, last known to be living in the area of Mimosa Park Road, Tuscaloosa, wanted for trafficking opium. If you have any information on these or others wanted by the Tuscaloosa County Sheriff's Office, please contact them at 205-464-8672 or on their website at tcsoal.org.
And we're about 4 hours away from landfall in the Big Bend region of Florida with Hurricane Helene. More on that local forecast up next. Hear my forecast every day on 92.1 The Possum. And starts off live this evening along Alabama's Gulf Coast. This is over in Gulf Shores, and clearly the surf is much higher compared to this time yesterday. Hurricane Helene continues to strengthen in the Gulf of Mexico. There's an offshore wind down there, so the good news is there's no storm surge for Alabama's beaches. In fact, several people down there this afternoon. Let's go to our Demopolis camera, and again, this is over in northern Marengo County. You are looking southwest. That's the Tombigbee River, mixture of clouds and sun. North wind, again, behind the hurricane. That is an offshore wind. You saw down to the beach, that's a north wind that continues all over west and central Alabama. North wind at 10 miles per hour here in Tuscaloosa. Temps are right now at 79 in T-Town. Looking north from the stadium across University Boulevard right now. Look at Doppler radar. West Alabama currently all dry, but East Alabama, some showers ongoing there. But in terms of the heavy stuff, most of this has remained over into Georgia so far. We've got a hurricane in the Gulf, though, and this thing is really ramping up. Look at the eye there of that feature to the west of Tampa, and we are looking at that Big Bend region of Florida. We've been talking about this same location for days now. It's incredible how this hurricane has stayed perfectly on track. There's Panama City. We've got some rough weather there, some tropical storm conditions and heavy rainfall. That's all east of Destin. But again, west of Destin, no major impact at all for Alabama's beaches here. And again, that is due to that offshore wind, and the rain mass remains to the east. But if you are east of Mexico Beach, that's where the weather is really getting quite dangerous. Hurricane warnings in effect there for that Big Bend over to Cedar Key as well. Here's the latest winds of 125 miles an hour. This thing is knocking on the doorstep of Category 4 status. So this thing is getting stronger as it comes into that Big Bend region. Makes landfall around 9 o'clock tonight and comes right over Tallahassee, a major community, major city in the path of this. Valdosta, Georgia takes a direct hit, and Macon, Georgia takes a direct hit tonight. Still a strong hurricane at that point, which is incredible that far inland. This thing goes up through the Atlanta metro area late tonight into tomorrow morning here, and then moves into Tennessee by midday tomorrow. We got hurricane warnings in effect for the Big Bend region of Florida, and as far north as the southern end of Atlanta. That is incredible. I don't think I've ever seen a hurricane warning that far north into Georgia. Extreme east Alabama tropical storm warnings there. Some winds could gust over 40 miles per hour. West Alabama, no major impact at all. Some breezy conditions, but the heavier rain stays to the west. There may be some sprinkles or showers overnight tonight, but not a lot for West Alabama. North Alabama, though, on Friday here, we got a better chance for scattered showers and for local high school football games Friday night. For North Alabama, there could be a little bit of rainfall. So here's your 7-day. Let's show you that. We've got dry weather coming back in for the weekend. Great news for college football. Alabama home game, and Auburn's got a home game. No weather problems at all. The weather perfectly fantastic for that. Dry weather continues for much of next week. Laura, we go into Monday, Tuesday, and on Wednesday.
Yeah, well, I hope those people in Florida stay safe, but I'm looking forward to some pretty football weather.
We got some nice weather coming.
All right, well, Gary Harris is in for sports.
Hey there. Yeah, we got nice football weather coming up, and we got a lot of nice football coming up, including, of course, the big one between Alabama and Georgia. Also, our Football Friday show coming up tomorrow night. Our high school game of the week is the 8-mile war between Gordo and Pickens County. We'll have a preview of that game. And the key to victory for the Crimson Tide against Georgia could be Bama's defensive front against that big physical UGA offensive line. We'll examine that coming up next in sports. Well, good evening, everybody. I'm Gary Harris. Alabama football held its final practice of game week this morning, so I guess you can say the hay is pretty much in the barn. Well, this Alabama-Georgia matchup, like many of these big games between great football teams, will more than likely be decided by who wins the line of scrimmage. The Alabama defensive line will be pitted against a big and physical Georgia offensive line. Alabama D-line coach Freddie Roach says the Bulldogs are terrific, but the focus for his guys is on being the best version of themselves.
Very big, very strong at the point of contact, very athletic, really good. Kirby's done a phenomenal job of that program, and obviously they won a bunch of games. So, we got to go out and do our job, and obviously that's a great opponent, but we got to make it about us.
Well, Football Friday comes your way tomorrow night at 10:30. Our game of the week is a bragging rights battle, Gordo at Pickens County. WVUA 23's J.D. Zaza has a preview.
The 8 Mile War rivalry between the Gordo Green Wave and the Pickens County Tornadoes turns 100 tomorrow night, and emotions are running high on both sides.
It means everything. Gordo is one of those games that you really dislike the other team. Like, there's very few games where you go in and you just honestly just dislike them. Gordo is one of those teams.
I want to win it for these kids who grew up here. Their cousins are on those teams. Our rosters look very similar. You see a lot of the same names on the roster. So I want to coach harder for my kids, and I want to win for those guys.
Currently, the Green Wave are on a 10-game winning streak, which is the longest in the century-long rivalry. The last time Pickens County won the 8 Mile War was in 2013. Later that season, the Tornadoes won their first and only state championship. For the Tornadoes to end the streak, Coach Williams leans on a motivated senior class.
Sunday, watching film, first thing that came out of our senior Jaquarius Cohen's mouth was, I haven't beat him in my 4 years. So he understands the magnitude of this game, and once he understands it, the whole team will understand it.
Emotion doesn't win ball games, execution does. So we just go out there and execute and do what we do, and it doesn't matter how hungry anybody is, except for the 22 guys that are on the field at the time.
Pickens County is currently 2-3 this season, but Coach Williams states that one spark can turn the season right around. What a spark it would be if the Tornadoes can upset the Green Wave and end the decade-long winning streak. Reporting from Pickens County High School, I'm J.D. Zaza, WVUA 23 Sports.
SEC volleyball last night. Number 20 Tennessee hosting Alabama. Alabama a big underdog, but the Tide came to play. We're going to pick it up in the fourth set. Alabama had to win this set to force a fifth set, and they pushed the 20th ranked Lady Vols to a fifth set as they win this fourth set 25-23. However, in the fourth set, the Crimson Tide came up a little bit short. Tennessee takes the match. Hard fought 3-2. The scores were 17-25. Alabama lost that set. They won 27-25, then lost 20-25, won 25-23, and then lost 11-15. The Crimson Tide resumes SEC play Sunday on the Plains, facing Auburn at 4 p.m. on the SEC Network. And we got plenty of football tonight. We got a high school football game up in Fayette County. We're going to have highlights tonight at 10 as we're headed up there, getting ready for Football Friday. And Alabama men's basketball today. Laura held a scrimmage and media opportunity. We're going to have that for you tonight at 10 as well.
All right, well, stick around. We'll be right back. An amazing underwater study shows an unlikely alliance, and a rock star's dog nearly gets snatched by a hungry coyote. Jeremy Roth has today's Take a Look at This.
You're not going to believe this. A new marine research study found that octopuses often work together with fish to hunt as a unit and even sometimes punch the fish that aren't doing their jobs. I swear I'm not making this up. The study published in the journal Nature, Ecology, and Evolution was sourced from roughly 120 hours of underwater video observing octopi working in tandem with surrounding fish that would act as scouts and direct their tentacled leaders to areas of available prey. Amazingly, freeloading fish in the group that weren't contributing would often get a swift punch in the gills from the lead cephalopod. The study shows not only a fascinating and unlikely alliance across species, but one that these alpha octopi rule with an iron fist. Tentacle, I guess. A more frightening display of predatory behavior was caught on camera in, of all places, a rock star's backyard. Video shared by Motley Crue drummer Tommy Lee shows a coyote snatching the rock star's dog from his California backyard. Lee's wife Brittany is seen chasing after the brazen predator and reportedly scaled their fence just in time to rescue the pilfered pup. Brittany later posted on Instagram details of the tense encounter and that the dog, Nina, was safe. Finally, let's calm things down with this precious pooped-out predator taking a super cute cat nap with its own plushy prey. The adorable video was shared by the Oakland Zoo to remind patrons they can donate old, worn-out stuffed animals at the zoo to be recycled and, yes, sometimes repurposed, saying the perfect plushie just hits different. More like the perfect plushie. For Take a Look at This, I'm Jeremy Roth.
All right, Gary, sports?
Yeah, like I said, most of our high school football is tomorrow night, but we do have a game tonight up at Fayette County that we're going to be covering. And also, as I said, we'll get some Bama basketball in tonight at 10, more on Alabama and Georgia. And then, of course, tomorrow night, it's not as heavy a night for high school football because 11 weeks to play 10 games and 5 weeks in, a lot of people are taking buys. Yeah. But we're still going to have a lot of games. And, Richard, the good news is tonight, tomorrow night, Saturday for the big game, the weather's looking great.
Oh, yeah, and high school football, now there may be some showers for northern areas, we're talking about mainly north of Tuscaloosa. No major impact, no lightning type of delays, anything of that nature. But, hey, temperatures are great. I mean, we've got low 70s for high school football Friday night. And then the Bama game, Alabama taking on Georgia Saturday, 6:30 kickoff. We've got 76 there at Brian Diddy, fourth quarter, 70 degrees, no rain for that game. And Auburn taking on Oklahoma, another home game down at Jared Harris Stadium. Temperature around 80 degrees, 2:30 kickoff, and again, low 80s by the end of the game. I do want to show you this real quick. The dry weather will be back for the weekend with a slow return of some sun by Sunday. Next week looks really nice.
Yeah, I want to mention, too, Tuscaloosa Christian was scheduled to play tonight at home. Yeah. Originally, they were scheduled to play over in Clay County. And then because of the heavy hurricane rain expected, they moved it here. And then Clay County decided that they're not going to come over. So that game has been canceled. Actually, it's a win. It's a forfeit for Tuscaloosa Christian.
All right. Well, that's our show for us tonight. Thank you.